We really should record our pre-shows.
We honestly should, though. I agree.
The Flick Network. We watch movies. We talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
Welcome to the Flick Network episode I don't keep track. I'm Dave. Joining me, of course. We're here to watch a bucket list movie, 100 bucket list movies. We watch one every single week, except when Dave doesn't post episodes. He's really good at that, I swear. One day, I'll post them consistently. I promise. Joining me, of course, is electrical engineer by day, Jeff Daly by night. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, spectacular. Also joining us, a woman who survived a hurricane, Ian. This will probably be very outdated once this happens, but...
Honestly.
Well, really, it won't be outdated because eventually there's going to be another hurricane.
Yeah, I named it, though. I named it, so we have to recycle back to Ian, which will happen.
I mean, theoretically, I've survived quite a few hurricanes.
How many hurricanes go through that place on average?
Well, the seasons have been pretty dead. It's been like one or two a year, which is actually nice.
Sounds so miserable.
One or two a year.
But honestly, though, it's been really slow. But then they say the planet is dying, so it's supposed to get worse now. So that's cool. Love that.
We live in Cleveland and we get snow and we get these snowstorms, right? And we get like one or two really bad ones a year. But like even that just means like, oh no, I'm stuck in my house. Good thing the heat is on and I don't have to go anywhere and I've got hot chocolate and a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely different vibes.
A hurricane came within 200 miles. It's really windy and rainy today. That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I would say, you know what the craziest thing that I learned about, the hurricanes, Dave? Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Shai.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of places around there, especially if you live near the ocean or river. You can't. There's no insurance companies that sell flood insurance. So if your house floods and everything, there's no insurance that covers it.
So there's hurricane insurance in general. It's like all encompassing, but you have to pay for it in addition. It's like an add-on to your homeowner's insurance.
That's so gross.
And I heard it's ridiculously pricey
stupid.
too.
Well, yeah, there's that too also. Yeah.
Well,
but like capitalism. So,
Yeah, because I was watching a TikTok of somebody whose house was literally flooded, and she said, "Yeah, the problem is we didn't have flood insurance because the insurance companies, we live near a high risk zone. They don't sell flood insurance
because they know they're going to have to actually help you, and God forbid that the insurance does what they're supposed to do.
Because it's almost like they can guarantee that it'll flood. Also, that's Shy. Her name's Shy. We didn't introduce her.
Yeah.
Shy.
Oh yeah,
Hi.
Hi,
And this is Plain Dave.
Yeah, Sausage Biscuit Dave here.
Dave.
Every week we watch a movie off our 100 bucket list movies, and this week we watched a movie that was shorter than the most recent ones.
Because it wasn't. One would argue that after I watched this movie, it was like going to war.
This is a movie that is beloved by a group of people that I don't quite understand.
Yeah,
because
it's a cult following movie.
It has a cult following for sure.
And therefore, when I say the things that I'm about to say, I hope that no one is upset by my confusion more than it is that I don't desire to be a part of this wonderful group of people who understand what we just watched. So,
no one said they understand it.
Okay, but
what it means.
But there's a group of people who, like, I feel like if I went to one of these movie theater showings of this movie, where I was in the group of people who just eat up whatever this is. That's a weird phrasing for this movie.
It's fair. I'll take it.
Who love it. I think I'd have a great time.
Yeah, you'd have a blast. Even just observing.
Watching it on Hulu, I mean, I feel like I understood this movie more than I did the first time I watched it, because I'm just older and wiser. but I still don't really know what the hell I just watched.
Okay. I would say that this movie, until it gets to a halfway point, is pretty semi 3/4 the way Goku. So.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
I mean, it's not very confusing until they actually fucking get there.
I was hoping
So the first third of the movie is like pretty self-explanatory.
yeah,
Okay. On one hand, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Did we
Yeah.
say that?
No, we
Oh, I
we did we did it.
We watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Woo!
which I would say, I would say the weirdest thing is like it's the most unique movie you could ever watch. I would say it's the most out there, unique movie. I cannot describe the genre of movie it is.
No one knows.
I can't describe a movie that comes close to watching it. The type of experience you get from watching it.
I'm calling it a science fiction horror musical.
Love
But
it.
it's not. But I will also say we're living in a time to where this is like. It's not as weird as when this came out in the 70s. I could only imagine when it first came out.
That's what I
if it
love
all
about. That's my
went
favorite thing about this movie is every time I watch it, I picture like
People in the 70s
the
watch.
70s conservatives, because like the 70s was a time of like rebirth and like all the hippy dippy people and like everybody discovering shit and being expressive, right? And this movie was for those people, but not everybody knew that.
Yet
So
how
I just think about the like super conservative people in 1970 whatever the fuck
who went
going to see this movie
and didn't know what they were getting into?
and had no idea.
Yeah.
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 I watched this movie and like there are moments that make me like a little bit like, yikes, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing
we're
that.
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
yet
kind of party.
and yet like I try to sit here and go, how did this movie get made at all? Let alone how would this movie even got made today? You know?
What was
Like,
what was going through the actors' minds? I would argue that in today's day and age, with the cancel, this would never be made.
yeah.
It had to have been made in that time, in a time like I would argue that this is kind of like it's like almost one of those like movies way back when, like Reefer Madness, that really like the conservatives would make to show the dangers.
Yeah.
like that orientation and stuff, like, oh look, they're from another planet.
It's it's almost
The only way this could possibly be okay is if they're from another planet.
And it's not okay. They're aliens. They're killing people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have so many questions, and I know there's no answers. Like
But it has some of the best songs
So
in
fun.
a movie.
So much fun. It's a blast. Musically, so much fun.
yeah, from the get go, the entire until the last couple songs, I'm
Yeah.
100% on board with
Yeah.
all the music, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I understand why the time warp.
The time warp is the
So
best.
fun!
One of the best.
Yeah. But then I think, what the hell is the time warp about in the context of this story?
Just a
They're
dancing.
doing the time warp to go back to the time where they
It was
were
a
from
party. They were
Transylvania.
a party.
A
It is
party
dance.
celebrating the
Rocky Horror.
Rocky
The-
Horror, but the
The creation
took-
of
it-
Rocky. It was.
it
Rocky's
took
birthday
until-
party.
This watching of Rocky Horror Picture Show to realize that Rocky's full name was Rocky Horror, so his name was in the title.
Can I ask a stupid question? And this is, I swear to God, I don't know the answer to this question.
Okay.
Why did they make Rocky?
So Frank made Rocky because he's basically wanted to make
A perfect man.
Perfect man for the perfect
Yeah.
man for himself.
Okay,
For
but,
him to play with.
but he's to play with, but he's the nephew of the other doctor who's
That part.
somehow
Eddie.
related.
Well, that's Eddie. They said Frank
Who's
made
played
Eddie.
by Meatloaf, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah. So they said this part still doesn't make sense to me. So they said Frank made Eddie, or Frank implied that he created Eddie, right?
No, he didn't.
But turns out Eddie was actually another dude who was actually Dr. Scott's nephew.
Yeah,
he didn't
that-
actually create Eddie.
that Columbia had a love interest in,
Yeah.
and Frank stole him
Yeah.
from Columbia,
Yes.
and then Frank got mad and froze him, took half of his brain to make Rare Rocky.
and made Rocky. Yeah.
But Rocky is made.
Yes.
Yeah,
Frank made Rocky.
Just because here's the question I have is I don't know if everyone's just crazy and on drugs or if they are from another planet. Like I honest to God, I don't know. I don't.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be
and let me tell you how
a
much of a hit.
sci-fi movie, so it's
Yeah,
it is.
and
It's
you
like-
don't know they're from another planet until the very second Riff Raff and his sister show up.
Yeah, Magenta and
Uh,
Riff Raff.
Magenta and Riff Raff show up in a space costume and shoot everybody dead.
Just murder everyone.
And let me tell you, Riff Raff and Magenta had like a weird incesty vibe going on.
Oh yeah. But
Oh,
it seems like the whole planet just fucks each other. That's what it seems like. So
I mean,
I guess it doesn't matter.
yeah, no, that's definitely what we're implying here.
Yeah.
And oh God, like there's so many things that it's just like, how did anybody, this went through.
How did this get made?
This was made by
That's-
20th Century Fox. This isn't some indie studio. This isn't some like random guy who just happened to have enough money to make whatever movie he wanted to make. This
They were, I guess, trying to push some envelopes.
Disney.
And somebody came to them with that script and was like, "Hey, I have this," and they were like,
Go
"I
f-
mean,
Go
This
for
had
it.
a budget of
let's go.
1.5
Yeah,
million.
whatever. Go for it."
I'd like to tell you right now, this is a Disney movie now. Disney
Is it-
Disney
it-
owns this.
okay.
They bought 20th
Only
Century Fox.
is-
Does that make Dr. Frankenfurter a Disney princess?
Yes.
No, oh, no. It's only a Disney movie by acquisition.
Yeah,
Doesn't- I feel like that's not.
I,
It wasn't
Eddie-
created by them.
I realize
Eddie
that.
was a delivery boy who happened up on the doorstep delivering stuff.
And then what's her name liked him, and then Frank
Yeah.
was like, "Who?" And then it turned into a whole thing.
Because Frank's just like doing everyone, including both Brad and Janet. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
and let me tell you how crazy Janet is to where she did Frankenfurter,
Yo,
And then
Janet
she
had a whole
caught-
sexual awakening.
caught Brad after where Frankenfurter, and she got upset at him. And
I know.
then
How
just-
dare you?
I know. Yeah, no, really.
How dare you? bitch.
And then she went to Rocky and just
Yeah, she didn't only get mad
I
at
know.
Brad. She also did him and Rocky.
Yeah, she had a whole awakening.
Yeah, Janet concerns me more than any other character in this entire thing. And and because of Janet's arc, I just don't know how to feel about this entire movie. If Janet and Brad are my main characters, kind
I
of.
feel like they're not though.
Who
Like they are until a certain point, and then we don't care. And then everybody's just there, and we're like, okay, this is a fucking mess. So,
I will say
they
the
don't
one
matter
mistake
as much anymore.
the one mistake they did is when they ran out of gas. I think they ran out of gas, right?
No, they got a flat.
flat?
They got a flat. Is that it was still pouring rain in the middle of the night? I would have just said, "All right, let's just sleep here for the night, and we'll figure it out in the morning."
Yeah, so also the conversation was, hey, wasn't there a castle a couple miles back?
And you're
Yeah,
like, the fucking castle.
And as soon as they say a couple miles back, I would be like, that's something to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna walk 2 miles in the rain. Sorry.
Yeah, just wait until
Back-
the morning where it's not raining anymore.
Back to a castle. A castle.
that part.
Yeah.
Dave's still on the castle situation.
As soon as like I went to the castle and there was just like 10 people on motorcycles, right?
Yeah, and then there was
Pulling
the
up
I don't know what the dude who opened the door is, the assistant guy. I don't.
riffraff.
Is his name Riff Raff? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Riffraff, yeah.
When he opens the door, I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm going back to the car."
Okay, bye. And Brad's like, hi, I'm Brad.
Yeah. I hate Brad, by the
His
way.
whole name. I hate Brad too. Brad's the worst.
What did Brad ever do?
Janet is
He's just so.
not okay. I'm
Brad is a douchebag Republican.
What makes him
Like
a
the
douchebag,
energy.
though? He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything bad though.
He's just so blah. He's
okay,
just,
yeah, but like, they go into this house. Okay, this castle. I'm sorry. They
He's
go-
like,
They're doing the time warp.
and they get shoved into whatever party this is, and
Yeah.
Janet is still legitimately terrified, right?
Yeah.
And Brad's like,
And he's just like, it's fine.
we don't understand their customs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
like,
fine.
They're
Apparently,
obviously foreign.
a bunch of from a different planet.
Which let me tell you, that's the most slapping song and one of the most
Listen,
slapping songs in
it's
film
so much
history.
fun. It's so much fun.
I love the music.
I have done the time warp with a bunch of college friends before and my sister, and like, it's fucking fun. It's stupid and fun.
And this is a rite of passage among people to go to Rocky Horror.
Yeah, man, you got to get up and do the time warp in the fucking in the theater.
But the best thing about this, like, it's the most out there plot. And I think the most hilarious is Frankenfurter going to Janet and Brad's room, and it's the same dialogue for both their rooms.
It's so funny. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, except what's actually taking place makes me so uncomfortable. I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at how funny it is. Like, it is.
I feel you.
It is funny, but it's
You're
also
like, ooh, this is a little rapey.
yeah. There's a balance between this is funny and this is inappropriate.
I mean, he did have Rocky chained up in his bedroom.
I mean, but yeah, he did. But he kind of created Rocky for that purpose.
And
So I guess it feels different when he goes to Brad and Janet.
my main criticism for this is it probably just on me, but about 80% through, it's like they made the executive decision to stop making any sort of cohesive plot and to make it as out there as possible.
Yeah,
Like, once we got to the swimming pool situation,
Oh no,
like,
but yeah, as soon
this
as
is a lot.
as soon as they start unmedusaing them, like unfreezing them, and they just accepted that they're in this costume and started singing and dancing.
Yeah,
It's like, all right, this is
the
just
whole Medusa thing, I guess, like, turned them into, like, Frank.
but it is
They're
hilarious.
like Frank.
It is hilarious that the guy in the wheelchair was like,
Oh, yeah.
I can't act like them, and then his whole leg, he's like, oh, and he just starts dancing. With
Yeah.
it.
Like, well, clearly your legs work, sir.
It's hilarious, but yeah. And then Riff Raff and
Then they just Magenta.
come in with their space outfits.
They just murder everybody. And
Yeah,
they're just
like,
okay.
why couldn't they? Why they could have done this all along?
That part. That too. It's like, when did you acquire what you needed to go home? And then, or did you always have the means to go home and you just never, like, I'm confused.
Like, you trusted Frankenfurter until this point.
Yeah, you were like,
this is when you decided he was unhinged. This
Yeah.
like
this was the level that you waited for. Like, oh no, he's fucking with
Oh no, he
people
killed.
that have nothing to do with us, and he killed a dude, and like,
I mean, they did mention that. Hey, yeah, he did kill a dude.
yeah, they were like, listen, you can't be here doing all this.
But I'm pretty sure, like, the entire point of going back to their planet is so they can just do all this stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess Frank took it too far, and like, I guess even on their planet, it's too much.
That's I don't even understand. I don't. Where's the line? Because I feel like
Maybe the line is just murder. Like, let's not murder people.
okay.
You can be with whoever you want. You can do whatever.
Yeah, just let's not kill
crazy
people.
You can
just don't kill anybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's
And
probably
then,
a lot.
but you can even feed them at a dinner table. Just don't kill them.
Yeah, just don't kill anybody.
Which is the craziest thing, where he just
That's-
like pulls out the table and it just Eddie minced up.
Yeah, that was nuts.
it is nuts. It's just crazy.
It's nuts. The whole thing is nuts. But I love it.
I can't.
I
describe
love
this
it.
movie.
No, you can't. And that's why I feel like you gotta watch it. Because if you went and were like, okay, this person is thinking about watching Rocky Horror, let me tell them what it is. What the fuck? What are you gonna?
What are you gonna tell him? What are you gonna tell
What are
him?
you gonna tell them? Like, there's nothing. Like, I don't know. It's a debaucherous, barely sci-fi movie with really good songs. Does that do it? I feel like that's. Is that it? Did I do it?
The craziest part is it's a bunch of nobodies, Meatloaf, and then Tim Curry as
Yeah.
Frankenfurter. Dr. Frankenfurter. Tim Curry's Dr. Frankenfurter. Now, if you know Tim Curry now, looks nothing like this, and you could not have thought he would have done this
No.
role.
Mm-mm.
You're like, this is Tim Curry?
I wonder about how there is okay. When you make a movie, okay, when
This was Tim Curry's breakout role.
when you make a big studio movie, like everything had to like get approved and go through, and
How did this get
everyone had to
through?
agree, and yet like somehow this movie exists.
Because they wanted it to be, I guess they were, like I said, they just were like trying to make the latest, newest, craziest shit. Because it's the 70s. I don't know.
To bring
we
us-
don't know.
To bring us into like the science fiction kind of perspective, like if we believe in like the multiverse and like alternate timelines and everything runs parallel to ours, like I feel like Rocky Horror's existence is a major piece in like the timeline we're on that exists, and other timelines are
It doesn't exist.
it doesn't
And
exist, and the other ones are wildly different.
It's like a pivotal moment.
Yeah. Like, it changes everything. Like if we think about this, you're like, if I pick a different shirt every day and that creates a new timeline, the new timeline where I wear the different shirt isn't that different from the other one. Rocky Horror's existence, though, is a pivotal point. We're just in the one timeline where Rocky Horror actually got made.
Yeah. I love it. I love it for what it represents. It's just fucking bonkers. And
You know those classic
I love
movies
that.
that came out in 1975? Jaws, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yeah.
All those movies came out the same year.
See? Like, there's nothing like Rocky Horror.
No, there never will be.
And
Let's-
there never will be, exactly.
Nothing like not while we're alive, at least, right? No matter how more accepting people get, how more willing we are to not be a bunch of people who judge people for what they make their own decisions to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much better that gets, it will not get better enough where people look at Rocky Horror and go, yeah, we can make that again. We could do something like that again. We'll be long dead if we get to that point. All of us.
Honestly.
It'd be great
I
if
love
we.
it.
It'd be great as a society if we do get to the point where people can make whatever they want to make.
Yeah.
But we won't be there for this.
Nope.
So originally, when this movie first came out, it was almost like overlooked. Just like any cult movie, it was
Yeah.
overlooked when it first came out. They often consider like a long running social phenomenon. The movie, and it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, but
It's a crazy out there movie, and it's meant to be like that.
I love it. I love how nuts it is. It's so nuts.
okay. So we've watched a lot of movies on this show already, right? And we've
Yeah.
watched movies that we've all walked away from thinking these are absolutely bonkers. Two come to mind immediately, right?
Mhm.
And like the other two movies that we watched that I decided are completely bonkers are super beloved movies by other audiences. And like I sit there and go, yeah, these are too bonkers. I don't like this movie. Versus this where I'm like, okay, listen, I don't know what I just watched. The music is fantastic. I don't understand if this is science fiction or not. I'm not sure if everybody's just out of their minds or this is real in this world or not. That being said, because it is fun enough, I still like it. I would much prefer to be in a theater with a bunch of other people who love it so I can
Yeah.
understand this environment. And therefore it'll sit in this like I don't plan on ever sitting and watching this movie alone. like
Mm-hmm.
but I if somebody said, "Hey, I've got tickets to go to Rocky Horror," I'd be like, "I'm going. Like, let's go."
Yeah. Adventure.
It's I like it enough to do that, but I don't like it enough to understand.
You're not
it.
gonna just like throw it on a random
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, you throw a couple songs in my rotation, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll be that. I'll like, for me, and I love Rocky Horror. I'll throw it on just to like sing all the songs and like go through it until I get to like
The last
the end.
the last section, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
and then I'll just be like, okay, I'm done.
yeah. The
But
first,
I love it. I mean, I've seen it a million times at this point, but I love it for exactly what it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's like a cinematic masterpiece or whatever the fuck, but it's so fun.
I'd be concerned if
And
anyone
it
says.
was, yeah, it's so fun, and it was pushing envelopes for its time. It still pushes envelopes, and it's like
yeah.
nuts. Like, it's just crazy, and I think that's amazing.
It kind of like pushing LGBT. like,
Yeah, it did.
thing to
It pushed the trans movement, and it pushed, and like, and maybe I'm not gonna say in the best way, because like it's a mixed reaction.
This is
People saw this and they were like, "Oh, those people are disgusting," and then people saw it and were like, "Oh, okay,
yeah.
that's not so bad." So it did both,
Yeah, that's the thing is
but it still brought visibility to the community,
there's,
whether it's positive or negative.
yeah, I feel like the positive is it shows that it exists,
Yeah,
but it goes so far off the rails.
yeah,
That
it's so bonkers.
I worry that it's not really that positive in the long run. And I'm sure there are people who disagree with me, right? But I'm sure there's
Yeah.
people who agree with me on the other side too. Like this is
Yeah,
that part of the story doesn't make me uncomfortable. I'm glad that there is some sort of representation in media.
yeah,
That being said, I don't think this is a great representation.
not the best.
Yeah, this is not like, yay, everybody should feel better now.
Yeah, not the best representation. I
But at
actually
least it
really like.
highlighted something
Go ahead.
where in the rest of the industry, nobody else was talking about.
Mm,
It just
yeah,
The fact
they're
that they're
just like, here's this.
the fact that they're talking about it at all is impressive, and that's
Yeah, especially in the 70s.
wild too.
Yeah,
And I realize like the major cult following was probably the late 80s, and
Yeah.
and the in the early 90s was
Mhm.
the people in the theaters,
Definitely.
and that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Like that timeline, like growing up in the 90s, that timeline makes sense to me. The
Yeah.
fact that there would be anybody in a theater doing the time warp and singing along and dressing up like the characters and cheering,
Yes.
like that couldn't have happened. That doesn't compute in my brain. Like the fact that the movie got made in the 70s doesn't compute in my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I actually really love Janet's arc. I know that she's the worst, right? But what I like about it is it takes this like quote unquote wholesome, quote unquote, conservative, saving herself from marriage, like this stuff is also debaucherous and disgusting and terrifying. And then they just like flip her.
I think
And I love that.
I think I approve of the awakening, and I think I'd be better with it if she had just like snuck off to Rocky.
Yeah.
But the fact that like
I mean, the thing that like Frank playing both of them against each other was pretty gross.
yeah,
And pretty creepy.
that's what I mean. That's not like it's gross and it's weird. And she's like, "Promise you won't tell Brad." He's like, "Of course." Like, what?
Yeah.
What if
And then Brad did the same thing.
Which is hilarious.
Because you're like, oh, she's the worst. And then you see him go in the Brad's room and you're like, and that on its own, like in the 70s,
Oh
could
yeah.
you imagine people's reactions?
When did sitcom parents stop sleeping in the separate beds? You know, like you know what I mean? Like,
In the separate beds. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would have been
the 70s, like the late 80s is when we stopped doing that.
Yeah. So like to imagine, not only is this adultery now, right? But it's adultery with like this queer man woman thing, which is what they probably would have said back then.
Yeah.
And like and now it's like, oh, and look, I'm just imagining like just the head explosions that happened in the 70s.
Yeah. Like,
And it makes me so happy. Like, what doesn't make me happy is they probably exploded with like disgusting, hateful things. But like the fact that they had to witness that and we're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious.
So here's the course of people I think who would have seen it in the 70s, right? There's the people who went in who didn't know, and they went out going, well, that was interesting. Right? Like,
yeah.
I'm having strange thoughts. That's interesting.
Yeah,
There's those
confused.
people, and that's probably the better reaction of the two.
Yeah.
Then I think there's the other group of people who were way too actually secretly curious, who came out furious.
Yeah. Just angry.
Like on fire, because they're the people who
because they felt exposed.
they identified with Brad to the
yeah.
and right like that's like, I'm serious. They identified with Brad until the sequence of events occurred,
And then they're like,
and then they couldn't handle the fact that they were being questioned themselves.
yeah. But then I think of the girls that went to see it that were identifying with Janet until then, and then them being like, is that okay? Like, am I like dealing with that?
Yeah, I worry, and I'm not a girl. I know, shocking. Okay, but like that course of thought scares me more than the other one, and maybe that's just because I understand. I don't know. I understand the circle the other way.
So the reason I like the thought process that those girls in the 70s probably went through is because that whole
They were
modesty to the point of limitation and like saving yourself for your husband and like if you want to do that because you want to do that, cool. But if you want to do that because people are telling you to do that, that's not cool.
That's
And
what I hope.
I feel like that I'm hoping that there were girls back then who saw this and was like, I don't
have to. I don't
have
have
to. Yeah, I don't have to be that girl.
But I
You know what
also
I mean?
I also don't want them to become Janet.
Well, obviously, don't go cheat on your partners and friggin', whatever. But like, that's not the point to me. The point is more of the like awakening where it's like, sex is not evil.
That's why I wish that like Janet hadn't completely crossed the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they I don't know how this course of events in this movie would have played out any better.
Maybe if she just cheated once.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then it would have been even because Brad cheated too.
Yeah.
But she cheated twice, so it made it worse.
I think once you cross the line, it's already too many. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I don't feel, and this is a personal opinion.
But she not only cheated twice, but she cheated one of them with a 1 day old person. 1 day old person.
I mean, he was into it.
Sure.
I quit. I gotta go.
He was into it.
I'm so glad that Shy's on this podcast, because if this is just Jeff and I talking about this, I'd be concerned. All of this being said, guys, I really like
this movie belongs on a poster, Dave.
Yeah, actually I do. And
I will say it needs to be on a poster because it's the most film experience you could.
Jeff's mic's cutting out.
I'm assuming you said
I could say it's the most unique film
Yeah.
experience you can watch. It is needed.
Yeah, no, it's there's nothing like it.
nothing.
No.
There's nothing on the poster that can replace it. When I say like I don't know if Up is the movie that belongs on this poster, I say it because I think there are enough of other choices that meet these requirements.
Yeah.
There's nothing
There's nothing
There's
like
nothing
Rocky.
that meets.
you can't be like, all right, we can throw another sci-fi musical in. Like, absolutely not.
Like what are you even gonna
Yeah, like what are you gonna throw in here? There's
I don't know, Jekyll and Hyde? But that's not even close. Just only the same in that it's a sci-fi musical.
yeah.
Young Frankenstein.
That's it.
I do, Jeff. I desire to watch Young Frankenstein. I've seen a couple like Mel Brooks.
I've never
recent.
seen it.
It's not on the poster.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
I've
very
never seen it.
it's a very fun.
If we ever finish the poster, then we can go through our own list.
We will not, but
We won't. No. But if we do.
we're gonna get to like episode like we have 100. We're gonna get to like episode like 87, and then we're all just gonna be like, yeah guys, I'm so busy.
I'm
we're
done.
we
Yeah. I got stuff going on.
yeah. Maybe we'll come back to this. We'll revisit, and then like 4 years
And then
will
it'll
go
never
by.
happen.
Yeah, 4 years will
And
go
then 4
by.
years, Dave will insist that we have to start over from
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I can't come up with any reason this doesn't belong on here. I understand that there's a lot of people who might not love this movie, and saying I love it is different than saying like I enjoy this movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I love this movie, but that's okay. Like
That's totally fine.
I love a couple of the songs.
Yeah.
They're great. They're fantastic. It's so weird. It's such a weird.
So weird. I love it. I do love this movie, so obviously I'm gonna say it belongs on the list. But that's not. I don't think it belongs on the list because I love it. I think it belongs on the list because of how unique it is. Yes, and then also all the things we talked about, like the visibility of the trans community and the sexual awakening and sexual exploration that the movie represents. And like just all of that.
If you're
I
watching,
love that.
if you're watching the video and you saw my face just completely light up, it's because I looked at what the next movie is, and I didn't know what it was, and now I'm so excited.
Should I be scared or excited?
Uh,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
This is gonna be a great movie.
Yeah, this- I don't.
could
Have
just
you
check
watched
the
this
list.
movie yet, Shy?
What movie?
All right, so the next movie on the all right, we've all decided Rocky Horror belongs on here. It's
Yes.
great. Go watch it. That's not a question. Although we're recording this in October, and like I feel like this is the time of year where you probably couldn't go see it in a theater.
Yeah,
Like
this is.
and so if you're listening to this and you can get that opportunity, that's the way I recommend you
Go do it that way.
Do it.
I actually need to find a place. I think the AMC in City Walk, Universal City Walk, I think they show it.
I
have to look it up.
I would go do that. Even if somebody told me I could go this week, I think even though I just watched it, I would go. Like
Yeah.
I would too. It's something I've wanted to do as you.
I don't know what's happening to Jeff's microphone.
Can you not hear me?
You like
I can. You said it's something you wanted to do as blah, and then you disappeared.
It's I would see it tomorrow if I wanted to. If I
Yeah.
had to.
Good.
So the next movie on this poster, okay,
Yep.
is my dad's favorite movie of all time.
What do you think it is, Shy?
Wait, you told me what your dad's favorite movie of all time
Yeah,
is.
we did.
Multiple times,
Yeah, because
but I can't remember right
it's
now.
on this poster and it's a big deal. Although if you've never seen it, the first watch is weird. I want to. It's a movie that will grow on you.
Okay.
It definitely it's and that's important here. The next movie is The Big Lebowski,
Oh yeah.
Yes, I remember now.
and I don't want to tell you anything.
Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything. That's my favorite way to watch movies.
What I will say though is watch it with Joe. Joe probably has watched it. I just gonna.
I don't know.
This movie has spawned religions, like legitimate religions.
The dude abides.
Yeah, the dude abides.
I'm excited.
My dad is a
Have you
member
watched
of.
this before?
My dad went and got a certificate to be a member of that church.
Oh my gosh.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
And the all I'm gonna say is the plot's ridiculous, and just accept it. Don't.
Listen,
We just watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah,
What
you're
do
right.
you
You're right.
mean?
It can't. We can't go any weirder. So I'm actually kind of glad the order of this is Rocky Horror and then this, because no matter how weird you thought Rocky Horror is, this isn't as weird, but it's definitely weird.
I'm the best at just accepting it. I commit when I watch a movie, man. I'm ready.
I've seen this movie several times. I love this movie. I like it more every time I watch it, and so that should be no different. And that's not a spoiler.
Okay, where can I watch it?
Good question, Jeff.
Oh gosh.
Jeff, Google.
And I really too hope it has AD. It's not that old of a movie, although it's not a new movie. So
I mean, I'll survive if it doesn't.
Hulu,
Rocky.
Disney Plus. Wait, hold on. That doesn't. make
it's
sense.
definitely not on Disney Plus.
I don't think that's right.
No, it's not. The fact that we're getting Deadpool 3 with a Marvel Studios logo on it at all right, guys? Like
I can't even tell you guys.
we should
The
save
feelings I felt.
we should save that for a post-show
Should
conversation.
save
Showtime.
Yeah,
Showtime is where it's free at.
okay.
You have a
Showtime.
Showtime subscription.
You can add Showtime to your Amazon Prime for free, like a free trial.
You can just do Amazon Instant Video and rent it for.
$3. I'll just buy it if I don't own it already. Don't hesitate to watch this. Finish it. Shy.
I'll finish it. I promise.
The Big Lebowski does have AD.
Yes.
There's a master AD list on a website that's like a project
Yeah,
that shows
Hulu
you all
has-
the movies with AD. The Big Lebowski has AD.
This is important for this one. I think there's a lot going on.
I watch everything with AD if it has it.
Yeah, no, and I honestly, because I've seen it so many times, I'll probably turn it on this time just to
Just to spice it up.
Yeah, spice it up. Get
Have
a little.
new experience.
See how many things I missed, because I'm sure there's
Yeah.
tons I've missed. Of course, this is the Flick Network. I'm Dave.
Yeah, I'm Jeff.
I'm shy.
Oh, that was a quick wrap up. Hold on. Somebody tells people stuff.
Watch the next movie. The Big
Watch
Lebowski.
it. Tim
Watch it.
Curry, they made a second, they remade Rocky Horror in 2016. Tim Curry now is the announcer.
What?
The person, they remade it, it's like for in 2016, and Tim Curry is now plays the who's the person?
narrator.
The narrator.
Narrator guy, yeah.
Huh.
I feel like is that one of those like live TV musical things?
Oh yeah, they did it with The Sound of Music and like another one, The King and I think.
And like they're fun to watch, but they're not nearly as good. Like, is that what we're talking about,
Is
Jeff?
it that? Or did they actually fully remake it? I didn't know they remade it.
I don't think I'd want it remade.
Yeah, no, it's a television film. It was just remade and premiered on it's on television. Oh.
Yeah, those.
Interesting.
Don't watch that version. Go watch Rocky Horror.
You watch the original.
It's on Hulu, and go to a theater if you can. Watch The Big Lebowski. I'm Dave. That's Jeff and Shy. This is the Flick Network.
Oh.
You can follow Shy at Not So Shy. You can follow Jeff at Jeffrey Daily, me at Tell You
Hello.
Dave. And Jeff and I try snacks on the Snack Network. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go follow the Snack Network.
yeah. If you're not already, which I feel like is almost impossible if you're here. But we'll see you guys next time here on the Flick Network.
The Flick Network. We watch movies. We talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
The Flick Network is a production of the Snack Network, LLC.